Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Katie Wismer. I'm an author and an editor. I have 8 books out currently, and that's what we're doing today. We're talking about book number 8. I've done these videos for at least the last 2 book releases, maybe 3, where about a week after release, I make a check-in video on how did it go, and we can discuss how the release went, but then also the things that I did differently and just kind of document my thoughts right now, because I like to be able to look back on these. Like, I literally just before sitting down went and rewatched the video I made about Wicked Souls, which is the 2nd book in the series, just to kind of see how that release went, to remind myself and to see where my head was at that point, because you think you would just like remember that stuff. You don't. So it's nice to be able to look back on that. So book number 8 is called Bloodless Ties. This is the 3rd book in my Marionettes series, which is a new adult urban fantasy, kind of fantasy romance series with vampires and witches, and it's inspired by things like Vampire Diaries, Vampire Academy, True Blood. If you can hear my cat in litter box, apologies. Books are in Kindle Unlimited. I'll have all the links down below in the description if you want to check it out. Also available as a hardcover paperback. You can buy the ebook regularly, and the audiobook, we'll talk about that in a second. Coming from watching the video that I made for Wicked Souls, very different vibe. In that one I was like, this is my 3rd book release of the year, This is kind of like my 1st book release of this year, and it's November. I did have a book come out in April, which was a poetry collection called Breakable Things, but this is my 1st novel of the year. So compared to last year, where it was just like a blur, all I did was publish books, now I'm like, here we go, 1st book release of the year, and it's the end of the year. Where to start? Overall, I'm happy with how the book release went. I'm filming this a little bit later than I typically do. It's November 28th, and the book came out on November 15th. So tomorrow it'll have been out for 2 weeks. Usually I do these check-ins a week later, but honestly I just kind of forgot. So the audiobook, we'll start with that, is still not available, which is irritating to me because it should be by now. So the book is done. It's already been submitted through ACX, which is where I make my audiobooks, and they say that the quality check at the end should be completed within 10 business days. The book was submitted on November 10th. So even with the holiday and stuff, 10 business days have passed and it's not ready, and they haven't given us like a notification that something's wrong and needs to be fixed, and that's why it's been delayed. It's just nothing, to the point where I literally emailed ACX today to try and get an update, because I'm like, where is it? Like, what's wrong? So that's stalled, and that happened last time too. Not the like it taking too long kind of thing, but like I was hoping for it to be ready on release day and then it wasn't. So we're still waiting for the audiobook to come out, which is a little bit of a bummer because I was really hoping it was going to be available on release day. I always am, but this one I was really excited about. This one has 2 different narrators, and it's just a vibe. It's just so good. And I get questions like every day, like, where's the audiobook? And I'm like, I'm checking my email like once in the morning, once every single night, every single day for the past 2 weeks to see if I've gotten like the email about it, and I haven't. So I am just as impatiently waiting as you guys, I swear. So that is something different than we did with this release that I've never done with a book in the past. I had 2 narrators for the audiobook, which ended up making the audiobook so freaking expensive. So huge shout out to everybody who helped make the audiobook happen this time around. We ended up doing a Kickstarter. If you want to see some more on that, where I break down the numbers, I recently put up a video on how much I spent on this book, and we go into all the nitty-gritty numbers about the audiobook in that video. So that was something different. I usually talk about like pre-orders and book sales in the first week and stuff, so let's talk a little bit about numbers in case you are curious. I went into this release thinking one of 2 things was going to happen. Because this is a 3rd book in a series, and it's not like it's connected standalones where you can start anywhere. You have to start with book 1. My concern with that, not even concern, just my thought process with that is always that really limits the number of people who can buy this book, right? You have to have read the first 2 books to be able to pick this one up. Although I saw someone's review on Goodreads saying they started with this book, and I was just like, how? How did you even get through the first chapter without realizing this is not for me? Like, I should not be here. Wild. What was I saying? Limits the pool of people who can buy this book, so basically I manage my expectations based off of that. But with that said, this is the series of mine that is, I would say, the fan favorite. It's the one that I've seen the most enthusiasm for, so I feel like this book of mine is the one that's been the most highly anticipated. It's been up for pre-order for a year. It's the 3rd book in a series. Book 2 left off on a major cliffhanger. This book people have been waiting for, people have been excited about. So on the other hand, even though there's like a limited pool of people who can read it, it was an excited limited pool of people who were gonna buy it as soon as it was out, basically. And I was pleasantly surprised with the second book in the series. I think if you go back and watch that video, I said a similar thing where like, I'm expecting low numbers with this release because only people who've read book 1 can buy this book. And then I was pleasantly surprised that I think the book sold like 700 copies in the first week, which is good for me. I was really happy with that. So then Bloodless Ties, book 3, ended up also pleasantly surprising me. I didn't really have a set expectation at this point. My hope was just that it would do as well as book 2's release did. You would hope as you get later into this series that that read-through percentage would start to kick up, because if people are this far into the series, clearly they're more invested, they want to keep reading. So you hope to see maintain a larger percentage of your readers from book 2 to book 3 than book 1 to book 2, basically. And so far, I mean, it's been a little over a week, but not quite 2 weeks. We've sold 1,000 copies of book 3. For a release, third book in a series, I'm pretty thrilled with that. And that's the audiobook's not out yet. And some of the major marketing things that I'm doing for this release haven't happened yet. We'll get into that in a second. So very, like, no complaints. We've made all of the money back that we invested into this book. I think that might be my best book release too. This is a third book in a series and it's the most copies I've sold in a week for any book, which I'm going back and looking at my spreadsheet. Yeah, the Marionettes, which was book 1, it was 800 copies. So book 3, she's killing it. I feel like I always had that kind of perception of series before I really got into publishing, or when I was publishing my first couple of books, because the advice that you will hear from the majority of indie authors is the way to do well in self-publishing, the way to make money is to publish in series. And something in my brain was always like, but like only so many people can buy those later books in the series. It just like didn't make sense to me, because I was like, a standalone anyone can read, but book 8 in a longer series, like you gotta convince people to read 8 books to get to that one. So to me, it never really added up, but I'm seeing firsthand with this series that if you can hook people and you can make people like these characters, they are gonna stick with you through the books, the majority of them at least, if you're delivering on your promises in the series and you're delivering on their expectations. It's been wild to see this happen firsthand with my own series, because I don't even know if it was something that like I consciously thought about publishing in series. It was just something whenever I heard that advice, I was always like, huh, like it makes sense, I guess, because you just keep pushing people back to the one book. You just have to market the first book in the series, and then if you hook them, you get that read through. But in my head, I was like, if you can't get enough people to read book 1, nobody's gonna read the rest of the series. So it just felt like a gamble, you know, to invest that much time and money into these later books in a series if you can't guarantee that you can get people to stay in the series that long. So anyway, pleasantly surprised with how the third book in this series has done. Proven myself wrong with like how well series sell and things like that. As far as marketing and stuff that I've done for this book, because it's the third book in a series, all of the marketing has really been, you know, this book is coming out, but then pushing people back to book 1, because that's where they have to start. But I have been playing up a lot on TikTok, especially. That's where most of my marketing happens, is TikTok and Instagram Reels, is people's expectations of book 3, because I've been making promises since book 1. The book 3, if you're looking for the spice in the series, when you get to book 3, that's where you're gonna see it. And so anyone who went into book 1 like thinking this is gonna be a spicy series, and I kept saying, wait till book 3, this was what they were waiting for. So if I was doing any book 3 specific marketing on TikTok, it was like alluding to the spicy scenes and stuff like that. And then I also did this little push, which I actually wasn't really anticipating. It started out as one thing, and then I was like, might as well take advantage while that's happening. We'll add on another. Oh, then I got approved for this. Okay, we'll add on another. I just got approved for this too. We'll add it. It was not meant to be this big thing, and now it's a big thing. So for book 2, I didn't really put any money into that release. I did a lot of newsletter swaps. I really focused on my newsletter and free marketing and stuff. And for this release, I did basically nothing for my newsletter. Not intentionally. It just really didn't occur to me. I was looking back on my videos talking about the things that I did for book 2, and I was like, damn, I wish I would have done that again. I just completely forgot. So I did send out a newsletter on release day, but that's about it. And I sent out some newsletters to like get people to pre-order signed copies. We'll talk about signed copies in a little bit. So the paid marketing that I did for this release, basically I got approved for a Kindle daily deal for book 1, which is something you can nominate your book for, and then Amazon chooses if they want to feature your book. And so I got an email saying they had chosen to feature Marionettes for 99 cents on November 20th. And because book 3 was coming out November 15th, I was like, this seems like very good timing, because if I've got that spike in sales from book 3's release starts to come down at the end of the week, we've got book 1 going back on sale. Okay, we push that momentum back up. I was like, okay, should we try to ride this high for a little bit more? Because you don't pay for Kindle daily deals, they approve you, you get to do it, it's free. So we love that. But I was like, okay, book 1's already gonna be on sale for 99 cents. And mind you, the Marionettes at this point had never been on sale. It came out in August of 2021, and I figured I'm gonna wait to put it on sale until I've got more books out in the series for read through. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be the first time this book is on sale. We might as well make the most of it. We might as well make a big deal of it. So let's start stacking up these promos. So I ended up getting an e-reader news today deal on the 22nd. So Kindle daily deal on the 20th, 22nd, still the 99-cent deal. That was $45 for that. And then I got a BookBub on November 27th, which was yesterday. So, which is the big one. We all want the BookBubs. Though this was not for the US, and I've had a BookBub before that wasn't for the US, and it didn't perform badly, but it didn't like blow me away. So when I got approved for this, for the sale ran for Canada, the UK, and Australia, like I was happy. I'm never gonna turn it down if they approve me, but I had those like kind of managed expectations, because I was like, I've had one of these before and like it was nice, but it wasn't mind-blowing amazing. Totally different category this time. This one sent out to their supernatural suspense newsletter, and the last time I got one of these deals was for the anti-relationship year, and I believe that sent out with their new adult romance newsletter. So the boost I have seen from the BookBub yesterday, I have been thrilled. Like, it's been really surpassing my expectations. It's a #1 bestseller in its category in Australia. It was in the top like 300-400s in all of the stores. It was just, its ranking is how I gauge, because with Kindle Unlimited, you don't know if people are downloading it. It doesn't tell you that. So the only way to really go off of that is to see how the ranking is changing. And I did see some outright sales, but with how much the ranking spiked, it definitely wasn't just the outright sales that was doing it. UK, Canada, and Australia pulled through, like really exceeded my expectations with that. So we love to see that. We've just funneled a ton of new people into book 1. So the hope is that they're going to continue into the rest of the series. And now they have 3 books to read. And so then I also have, today's the 28th. The next thing I have coming up is on the 29th. So tomorrow I also got approved for a BookBub new release for less. So I've heard mixed things about this feature of BookBub. The tried and true thing with BookBub is the BookBub featured deals, and those are really hard to get. The new release for less, from what I've heard, it's easier to get. I've never gotten one before, I've never really tried, and they're less effective is what I've heard, but they're more expensive. I paid $300 for it. So this is also, I think, going out with supernatural suspense, and it's basically highlighting Bloodless Ties, not book 1, as being a brand new release that's under $6. So that's running tomorrow, and we will see. I've, heard from other people how well it's worked for them, and I've never done it myself. So in my experience in general, you cannot blindly listen to what other people have experienced, because it might be completely different for you. So we're gonna try that out tomorrow. And then finally on the 30th, book 1 is being featured with Fussy Librarian with that 99-cent sale. And then we're gonna round off that sale at the end of the month with book 1 going back up to full price on December 1st. And November 30th is my birthday, fun fact. So that brings our total, all in all, for all of these promo sites to $487. So coming out of marketing for Wicked Souls, where it's like, I didn't spend any money, I didn't do anything, to me impulsively, because I hadn't planned on this, being like, yeah, I guess I'll drop $500 to market this 3rd book. Y'all, I don't know. It's all because I got approved for that Kindle daily deal, and I was like, maybe we should make the most of this. And then when I got approved for 2 book clubs in the same week, I was like, well, I'm not gonna say no to that. So I guess we'll see at the end of this month, and past that, once we start seeing some read through from people who pick up book 1. We'll see, we shall see. But talking about the Marionettes and seeing the sales from that, because that's the book that's been on sale, it's been doing real well. I'm really pleased, and it's mostly been people like outright buying it, and the ranking has shot up, so I am assuming people are downloading it in KU, but we've seen a huge jump in people like actually buying it for 99 cents. So I'm hopeful. I hope they love it. I hope they want to keep reading the series. It's always fun to bring in people who are not previously a part of your audience, and I got 8 books that they can go check out if they want to. So we love that. Yeah, I said we would talk about signed books, so I have been packaging those all day today, all day yesterday. I had so much fun doing them this go around. I talk more about it in that video where I talk about how much I spent on this book. So I did the pre-order form, but then I also just kind of left them up for pre-order on my website this go around. So I think that's part of the reason why I got more orders. This is the most signed copy orders I've ever gotten in a single wave. So I've had a lot of fun. I bought a bunch of fancy stuff this go around. I was putting like tarot cards in the boxes, and I made these prints of character art, and I had a color theme, so the boxes are all black and gold, and I've got these like decorations in it. So it's been a vibe. It's been really fun. Wrapped all the books in like a color-coded way. So if you got the Marionettes, it's in red. If you got Wicked Souls, it's in black. If you got Bloodless Ties, it's in gold. It's been so much fun. I've had so much fun doing it. So I just wanted it to feel special. I've been so fortunate this year, and this series has been a really big part of that. So I just wanted my readers who went out of their way to buy a signed copy, I wanted it to feel exciting and special for them. We made a bigger deal of it this time than I ever have in the past, and I've really enjoyed doing that. I haven't shipped any of them out. They're sitting over there. That's why I'm gesturing over there. But I will be doing that in the next few days. So I'm excited for people to start actually getting them. Anything else with this new release? I think in the past I've told you like what the reviews were sitting at. So let's check. Thank you so much if you've left a review of Bloodless Ties already. I will say the reviews have been coming in a lot quicker for this one than they did for book 2. So on Goodreads, we already have 113 ratings, and on Amazon 68. So I'm really happy with that. That's a lot faster than they came in for Wicked Souls. If you haven't left a review yet on Amazon, I would appreciate it so much. It really helps out the books in the algorithm and stuff. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I typically update you guys on in these videos. It's been a while. We haven't done one of these. The last time I had a book release was in December, and it's now November. A lot of things have changed since then. I've hired a personal assistant to help me with my social media since the last book release. I've been able to take way more time off of my editing clients. I've actually had the whole month of November off. I haven't done any editing, and I've just focused on my books, and I have been thriving. Like, I have been feeling so much more creative. I was feeling kind of burnt out and just like sluggish, and I was struggling to want to work on my stuff, and this month I've been so inspired to the point where I can't keep up with myself. Like, I just want to work on all of the books. I want to write all the things. I've been working on a million different projects, and I haven't felt this good about writing in a while. So it's kind of been a signal to me that I need to take more breaks from the editing clients. And I mean, this time last year, I was so all in with this Marionettes series. Like, that's all I wanted to write. That's all I wanted to work on. And even though I am still really enjoying the series, and I'm going to be writing book 4 this year, I also have a lot of other projects that I'm excited about again, and I'm starting a new series. I've got some standalones that I'm working on. My next book release is coming in February, so we've got a quick 2 releases back to back. I'm in a good place right now is basically the way to sum it up. I'm really happy with how the books are doing. I'm really happy with how I'm feeling about writing right now. I'm really excited about the projects that I have coming up. I'm potentially going to be dipping into translating some books next year, which is totally new and different for me, so that's exciting. I think that's everything for the wrap up. Thank you guys so much if you picked up a copy of Bloodless Ties. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it was worth the wait. If you get the hardcover, there is bonus material in the back that you can't find anywhere else. It's got a bonus scene from a character's perspective who you've never gotten to see a bonus scene from their perspective before. I'm not going to spoil it. And then there's also some character art in there. So that's exciting. You can get the hardcovers everywhere that you get the books. Just fingers crossed that the audiobook goes live any day now, basically. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those down below in the comments. I think that's gonna be it for this video though. I'll see you in the next one very, very soon. Bye. No.